Good evening, everybody. We are back again today. Namaste. Today, let me introduce to you Ms. Vibhuti Taneja from New Delhi. Vibhuti is a well taught thought leader in education and a specialized consultant working with various school chains. She has been in the education domain for over 14 years and has assisted schools and learning institutes in the overall development. She has worked with Mother's Pride chain of schools and Presidium for almost a decade, including the likes of Little Wings, Sri Ram Global Schools, St. Xavier's Blessings, Sky World School, Regis Kids World, Vibhuti, etc. Vibhuti holds three bachelor's degree in mass comm, bachelor's in English, and a trained B.Ed from Delhi University and MDU, and a master's degree from Delhi University. She has recently tied up with an NGO in New Delhi to extend learning to underprivileged children. She is the co-founder of an online skill development platform, the SAC Club, that specializes in skill development programs for children. She is also founder. She's also working for the welfare of private schools as General Secretary for Delhi Private Schools and Children Welfare Association. Let's welcome Vibhuti. Good evening, Vibhuti. How are you?
Very good afternoon, ma'am. I'm all good, and thank you for having me here today. It's my pleasure. I
So,
hope everyone is
Vibhuti,
doing very safe and
yes,
healthy.
everyone is doing perfectly all right, and I hope everybody is hale and hearty. Okay, Vibhuti, my usual question: what brings you to education, like after having your bachelor's in mass comm and other subjects?
So, ma'am, basically, since my childhood, when I was in school, so I was always passionate about debates, taking part in panel discussions, and things like that. And like a normal teenager, I decided that let's get into mass comm and journalism. So while doing that, and again that anxiety of what has to go, what you should do further and how do you go about your life and career, I started working with Mother's Pride at a back end department, and in 2007, and after that there's no looking back. I mean, it's been almost 14 years. I think that anxiety and confusion between what to do and what not to do landed me into education, and since then I've been happily, I think, associating myself with a lot of schools, teachers, children, and working for the welfare of this industry.
Wow, that's great. So, Vibhuti, I wanted to know a few more things about you. Like, you are passionate about kids. You have been working about with the number of schools, a number of chains of schools, and still you are always on the go. At such a young age, you you've achieved a lot. Okay, so. What do you think? In fact, I would put it in the other way. What are your thoughts on the current educational scenario that's going on? And what I remember is you were the first one to say, "Ma'am, I think I can give you a lot information about online and offline education
Yes.
learning, basically." So our topic today is online and offline learning. So, what are your thoughts on the learning system in the current scenario?
See, when we talk about schools, we always talk about good, beautiful four walls where children can go, can get a conducive environment where we can talk about their holistic development. We, upbring them basically, not only for academic part, but making them work for their skill sets, their co-curricular activities and all. But I think from March, it's a very, very sad story if I talk about people. We all are struggling, I think, and most of uh, you know matter is that the children are suffering the most, basically, as they are unable to go out of their house. Their physical development is on stake, and then we come up with this solution of online learning. So when I say online learning, I think each one of us can easily relate to what I mean right now. Teachers are taking classes, virtual classes. They can't have that physical contact with the children. They can't have that social bonding with the children. The emotions are, it's kind of a roller coaster that we all are undergoing. So that's the latest scenario of schools. If we talk about, there's no four walls. Yes, there are four walls of the house, but not of that conducive environment. Children are sitting in front of the laptops or their tabs and screen times, everything. So the education right now is getting delivered through that virtual platforms instead of actually delivering the education from the physical front when they are present in the schools. So that's how we are tackling it, because that's the only solution we can look forward to right now if we can't go to schools.
So, when we are talking about online education and the conducive system of education that is currently going on, like, what do you think, according to you, being a consultant and a specialist,
Yes.
what do you think are the shortcomings related to online learning?
Ma'am, when a child goes to a regular schooling, the child can easily develop on the social front. The child can develop his confidence levels. There is the child can talk to the peer group. They can mingle around. Their emotions are nurtured, basically. And when I talk about this online structure, first and foremost, I want to point out that the children are unable to relate to their own teachers, right? When this lockdown situation happened in March, and we came out with this solution that schools are going to go virtual now. So the first, the fear that we all had was that children are entering a new session. They don't know who are going to be their teachers, and all of a sudden a new face come online and start telling them what is ABC or what is trigonometry and how do we go forward with our history. So one, there's no connection or the bond that teachers are able to, build with the students. Second, students are unable to interact with their own peer group. As we know that we all need that social, socio-emotional upbringing. We all need that comfort in our life, and there is a line and the circle that we draw around us where we only allow few people and we choose those people from our peer group. Right now children are only confined and are unable to interact with their peer groups or start, they are unable to form their own circle. Next is the internet issues that we talk about, the safety security of children. Online learning is giving a lot of exposure to students right now at such a young age where, there are insecurities in the parents that children may get into cyberbullying or cyber crimes and things like that. Also, it is always important for a student to be available, to have that competitive feeling, to have that confidence. And right now, when children are only sitting on a table chair with no other students around, there is no competition. They are getting little dull. They are getting, frustrated. It is very difficult for us as adults also to sit in front of a laptop for 1 hour or 1.5 hours. We also feel like getting up. But these children are too small. Their attention span is not that great. Even in the classroom, when you teach students, there is a concept that you take. Okay, there is a time, 10 minutes before the concept, 10 minutes after the concept, where teachers are talking to the children, understanding how much they are learning. But here, in a 30 minutes of virtual classroom, you're unable to do that. And because of that, somewhere down the line, probably not today, but 3 months, 4 months later, we all will realize that children have not understood well whatever academic part is going on, because academic is the only thing that is going on right now virtually. There are few schools who are taking forward the co-curricular activities and all, but children are actually missing on the real learning pattern. Even if we are talking right now virtually, there is always that there's a discomfort that when we talk like that, and when we say, what about children are too young to understand this. So yes, they are unable to concentrate in their classrooms, which is resulting and impacting their learnings.
So, tell me one thing, Vibhuti. Like, we don't have any other option
Yes.
but online education.
Yes.
According to you, how necessary during this era is online education? How necessary is it?
Ma'am, I think this is the only solution, and a temporary solution. You really can't build a school virtual. Even if we people talk about getting technology into education sector, the core of education is traditional. How are we going to give that hands-on experience to the students when we are talking on laptops? We understand that this is, a new normal right now, but only temporary. I mean, me as an educator, and all those teachers right now would be really praying and hoping that things should get normal and they should get back to their normal routine of schooling. I understand it's a necessity right now, but this necessity we can't get addicted to this necessity, right? This is a temporary solution, I can say, because we don't want children to suffer. We don't want children to lose on to their academic session. We don't want children to, uh, miss out on their knowledge, learning. Because if otherwise also a student skips one complete year, it gets very difficult for a child to get back to the routine. And
Right.
here they are not only they if they miss this year, and otherwise also there are so much of emotional trauma that they are undergoing.
Exactly.
I think that's this necessity is more of a solution right now because there's no other option.
Hmm.
I think would have been another option, teachers would have been doing that, and still it is a very difficult solution for the teachers. Work for
Exactly.
home and from home.
Overnight, within few hours, they were online. Like
Absolutely.
it's really hats off to all the teachers who've taken up this task so, like, we say, we can say that a professional is always a professional. Now they
Absolutely.
are pros. They are pros in taking online classes and everything. But the thing is, not only the kids are getting affected by this, even the teachers are getting affected.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You
So,
know, when
yeah, please,
when
please
we
go
when
ahead.
we started when this lockdown thing happened, the first and foremost when we started talking to our teachers that we have to go online, there were teachers who came out with this that they are not tech savvy. They are hardly able to actually use their own smartphones and do WhatsApp and all. Training them to go either on Zoom or Microsoft Teams or various applications that we have been using these days was a task.
In some places in Delhi, the online exams have started, and you won't believe how funny it is. Teachers are telling 11, 10th, 11, 12 students to arrange, in fact, set the cameras of their laptops and desktops in an angle where they can like see the child is writing on the answer sheet. Like, if we as teachers are so insecure, we do not trust our students, then what is the point of having online teaching and online exams?
I think that's a little discipline factor which has actually the discipline which got
Ma'am, I
deteriorated.
agree it's a discipline factor, but if some child does not have that facility, they can adjust the camera in such a way. Okay, laptop we can adjust some or the other or any angle we can do. Desktop we can, but the camera has a limit.
Yes.
The camera has a limit. So I think that the time has come when we as educators also need to get educated that if we are doing something virtually, we need to understand that not everybody is perfect. पता लगा वो कैमरे को एडजस्ट करते करते उसका कैमरा ही टूट गया या उसका लैपटॉप ही टूट गया, then what are they going to do? Because every parent cannot afford it. Discipline, I agree. Discipline should be there. But so much discipline, then why online exams? Wait for the schools to reopen and have the kids under your nose and take the exam. I think that's going to be the best solution. Or send them MCQs, MCQs, let them do the MCQs. Because then MCQs in itself are so confusing, everybody cannot understand. वहां पे तो cheating का कुछ रहेगा ही नहीं if they are scared that the child is going to cheat. What do you say about this?
No, I think you're absolutely right that we all have to understand that we can't actually bring the complete traditional schooling to online. There has to be a different way that we all have to follow.
Exactly.
Probably right now is the time where we focus, equally on the academic as well as the mental well-being of a child. Let's not pressure a child so much right now that he gets frustrated even while sitting in front of a laptop for a virtual schooling, which I think is going to exist for another 3 to 4 months.
Exactly.
There has to be a middle way, that there is a, it's always said that there's a very thin line between discipline and being badtameez, right? There
Exactly.
is, you take one step, you're called discipline, but you take a step back and you're not disciplined. So that's the same way. There's a very thin line where you have to actually understand that you can't get the traditional schooling into the online culture. And
Exactly.
and as it is, if you're teaching grade 11 and 12 online, children are understanding 60% of it.
They understand a lot. They understand a lot. In fact, they at times get bugged. Ki when ma'am does not trust us, then why should we give the exam?
Yes. And
Because
also,
that is the age, that is the age when parents, teachers, students, they start getting along well. And that is the
absolutely.
trust factor. That is the trust factor that everybody needs to develop.
I think, ma'am, here the parents and teachers, they have to work very closely.
That's what I have been. You've been following my all my talk series and quite religiously. You have been seeing that all of us, we have come to a conclusion that for the betterment of children, all of us need to come together.
Yes.
Okay, Vibhuti, tell me one thing. What is the actual difference between learning online and offline? Because people are, like I just mentioned this case. This is a case study, which I was just going through.
Mhm.
Like trying to see what the child is writing on a webcam. It's like, again, you want it to be virtually. Offline ही है वो एक तरह से.
Right.
So how would you explain what exactly is offline and online?
Well, when I say offline learning is the hardcore education that a school, in a different kind of an environment is given to a child. And when I say education, I not only want, means that it is alphabets, concepts, letters, or probably biology, physics, chemistry, but it is an all round development that we talk about. And when I say all round, it means that a child is able to choose that what he wants to do, being in a co-curricular activities, and then life skills, and then we talk about the hardcore academics. So this is the combination, this 360-degree things that we do for a holistic development of a child in an offline method, which we call a traditional school or a normal schooling. When I talk about virtual schooling, it is hardcore academic. It is only that a child is being given work assignments, a child is giving, send various PDFs, presentations to only learn the concept, which is the bookish knowledge. So this is a major difference that nowadays we can see between the offline and the online learning. Yes, of course, there's no co-curricular if I talk about in the online method. Virtually you can have dance class, virtually you can have probably a piano class or a theater class, but children can't relate to it. There are a lot of emotions attached when you want to learn probably guitar, when you want to learn piano. A child has to be present with the teacher to understand those things. I sitting here, if I start teaching guitar, half of them won't even understand that. So the major difference is this: in an offline schooling we have a holistic development of a child, but in a virtual schooling it's only the academic learning that is happening.
So it's like something that like God is omnipresent.
Yes.
So are the teachers now.
Yeah, I think that's
Temporarily,
becoming a scare
temporarily.
for the students.
That's temporarily. So like as we've been discussing, I think most in among all the talks we've been discussing about online classes, online like virtual education and all. What do you think? Should the like what should be the exact method of teaching virtually? Because at times what happens, okay, fine, we have a class of 40 kids, each child is getting up and reading what he has written. Okay, the teacher says fine, it's okay, right? How can a child cope up virtually when a child is being said get out of my class? What would you say about this? Like, should we as teachers do this? Should we present a very different picture about ourselves in front of the parents, or how should we go about it?
Ma'am, see, I think we all are right now in that phase where all are struggling with our own things, and so are the kids, right? They are undergoing a lot of traumas, a lot of anxiety in them because that energy that is normally in a child or in a young adult or a teenager is unable to come out, right? I, as an educator, is never of this opinion that even in a classroom you can tell a child to get out of the class because that creates an inferiority complex in a child. And virtually, if we say, I think this is a time that teachers should try to actually build a bond with the students so that we can easily pass this phase of another 3, 4, 5, 6 months, whatever. You know, the moment I think teachers are going to get little rude on the virtual learning method, I think we have lost the battle. We are
That is the
absolutely.
child, who is in just class 3 or 4.
See, I understand that children are not disciplined enough to attend the virtual classes. I have myself seen children sitting in shabby clothes attending the class, or children are not switching on the cameras because they just got up 2 minutes before the classrooms. I think here, once again, I would say that the parents and teachers, they have to work hand in hand so that children, for a time being, also can consider this as a solution for their schooling and can relate and participate in the virtual learning. Secondly, I think the ratio, the teacher right child ratio in the online learning has to be reduced. You know, you can't actually attend 30 odd kids in a one day. So you have to manage your time schedule, you have to
Yeah,
manage the
because
time.
that is where kids facing learning problems,
Absolutely.
they suffer. They really suffer, and they
Yes.
cannot at any cost come up to the mark of the normal kids.
Yes.
Though they are normal, but the learning methodology, their perception of what is being taught is different. So we definitely need to come down on the number of students.
Yes.
Like supposing we have 40, so instead of 40, we should have just
Yes.
50% of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because that is where, the teacher can also concentrate, and the kids also feel like, okay, we are only so many of us, and if we do not do it, ma'am is going to find out that we are not doing it, because it will become easier for the teachers rather.
Absolutely. If there are like 40 students, at one time of a class, then it is very difficult for a teacher to even realize that two of them just skipped the class, two of them just left the meeting. It is very difficult for a teacher like that. So the first, and I think the most important solution to this, getting into a real culture of online is to actually reduce the teacher-child ratio, and also teacher should be given little more time to actually talk to the student the way it used to happen in the traditional classroom. So when teacher used to enter, teacher used to ask, how is your day going and what are we going to read and everything. There was, children can feel that energy and the passion in the teacher when our teachers or our normal teachers, they enter the classrooms, right? So they should be given some time to freely talk. A lot of schools, they say that we have free plays, we have circle times. Why do we have all those things? Just so that teacher can relate and create that bond with the students. But virtually, if I talk about, it's just the classroom. Even a teacher also, uh, you know putting 40 giving her 40 minutes to one concepts and understanding किस बच्चे को समझ आया और किसको नहीं समझ आया is very difficult looking at the screen.
So, you two agree with my dream, rather, I would say, that we as parents and teachers should come on the same platform and work together, because a parent is somebody who knows the child in and out,
Absolutely.
right? And the teachers are somebody who can help the parents create an atmosphere of belongingness, atmosphere where the child can be understood much better, because at times what happens is kids are different in front of parents and different in front of the teachers. That is where we can work together. That is where we can make this world different for the kids.
Yes. Absolutely, ma'am. I think it's a partnership. It's 50-50.
Mr. Anil Swarup correctly said that we are partners. We cannot play with the future of our children by nagging or tagging the schools. And the schools, as schools, we need to understand what the parent is going through or what the parent wants to say. And we as parents need to cooperate with the school. If the school finds out that our child is having a problem or our child is not able to perform, we should not nag and tag the child. We should not go against the school to favor the child. What
So
do
I
you
think,
say?
ma'am, absolutely. If they favor today, tomorrow they have to bear the consequences. You know, a child who's 3 years or 4 years or 5 years old can still be molded. You know, the problems can still be, resolved. Not, if I say that, maybe not 100%, but to an extent of 60%. But that same problem, when the child is in college or grade 11, 12, it would be very difficult for a parent to actually rectify the mistakes then. It is always better, when we start, if you do pottery, it is very easy at the initial stage to create that pot. So it is very easy for us to actually mold the child at a very early age. And I think all the parents should understand, having any kind of difficulty in understanding, academic and understanding any things related to the schools or any knowledge is not a problem. We can still find a solution. You just have to actually relate to it. You just have to actually identify it. The problem is that even we identify it, we don't accept it. So let's identify it and then accept it. And once I think we accept things, we can easily work towards betterment of them.
Exactly. And that is how, that is how we as parents and teachers need to work together. We need to accept each other. We need to accept the fact that, yes, we are the parents of the students while they are in school, and parents are obviously at home. So we have to be parents to them. We have to be strict. We have to be firm.
Yes.
We have to support them. It's not that we have to just nag them, tag them, and we are just scolding them. You didn't finish your work. You've not done this. You've not done that. You can't copy from the board. How dumb you are. We have to refrain ourselves from using these words.
I was just giving my thoughts to a student who was doing this mental research program and mental well-being for the students. And the first thing that we both agreed on is that let's try to build more relationship with the children. Let's try to have more communication. Let's start interacting with the students. I think they may come out with their own difficulties, and then it will be more easier for us because we have the problem. Let's find a solution.
Exactly.
And I think nagging and tagging is never a solution. You call somebody dumb, next time the person will start behaving dumb.
Exactly, and that does happen. That does happen
because they believe it. That if at least our parents are calling us like that, then yes, maybe there is some problem with us.
Because what happens is that we have been trying to improve everything. We want that if a child, as teachers, I'm sharing an experience of a teacher, taking it as me. We want that when a child comes to school, he or she should be perfect enough to understand what I'm teaching, to copy each and every word from the board as it is, to do all the questions and answers that we have marked between brackets in the book, and he should copy each and every word. So what do you think are we doing? Are we teaching them what to think or how to think?
Ma'am, I think here we are only teaching them to copy, cut, copy, paste.
In fact, in other words, we can say we are teaching them to just what to think.
Exactly.
What to think. That is what we think. कि अगर हमने ये दिया है तो हमें यही करना है. This is what we want them to think.
Absolutely. Like, you've seen horses.
If we tell them, like even on online education, like let me ask you one more question. How difficult is it for the teachers to like what are the difficulties that a teacher faces while online learning?
Man, there are a lot of difficulties from if I begin when from March when this lockdown thing happened. There was a technology issue that has happened. A lot of teachers were not tech savvy. It was a task to actually train them to start taking this online classes. Then we started doing mock classes. It involves a lot of patience and time, right? And once the classroom started, there were a lot of students who were hesitant enough to start coming to their online sessions. Then slowly, gradually, that we overcome that situation, and then the discipline issue has happened. One teacher who's working for home and from home for the students. The teacher is active 24 hours.
Exactly, making the lesson plans, making the slides, making the proper lesson plan needs to be made, for virtual education. It's not
Yes,
that
and
rote and learn is going to work there. No, it has to be whatever we are explaining. The students need to understand each and every word that we are speaking.
yes, when you're in a classroom, you know and you understand while children are near you that children are able to correlate to your theories or whatever you're teaching. But in a virtual classroom, you can't make out. Children have straight face. If how can you understand that children are writing properly, they are understanding properly? It's the biggest challenge.
That is
जब
what.
हमारी टीचर्स क्लास में राउंड लेती थी तो पता चल जाता था कि हमने कितना काम किया और कितना नहीं किया. But अब there is
Exactly.
no scope. And now it is all the more difficult as parents have started going to work, and children
Yeah.
are all alone to actually, come forward for their sessions.
That is which is more dangerous also for kids.
Absolutely, yes. A lot
That
of
is
parents
where
are insecure about
that
this.
is where
Security.
stands the importance of physical education, the offline education. Like we were discussing, we need to teach the children what to think, not what to think, but how to think. If we
Absolutely.
tell them, okay, these are the questions, you come up with your answers by tomorrow. We don't want anything from Google. We want everything from the book.
Yes.
And in your words, not the bookish language. I think that is where the creative thinking and the logical thinking of a child will also improve. What do you say
I think
about it?
yes, absolutely, ma'am. If we really have to actually think about how to make a child, think for himself, and let's try to make these virtual classes children centric, not teacher centric or the school management centric. I think we should all start working towards making these online classes also children centric, where children can enjoy it. They enjoy watching YouTube videos, because that interests them, that are creative. So I think this online learning also has to be creative. Maybe you can start having some competitions online. You can start having some activity classes online. Let's not only, consider online learning as subjects.
I think that was
Let's
what
try
we were
to,
discussing also. That
yes,
was what we were discussing also. Like we will be having the storytelling online competition
yes,
wherein
yes, absolutely.
the storytellers are going to ask you questions in between and you have to answer those questions, and the answers that are nearest to the climax are going to be selected to win.
Yes.
So I
When there
think
were, yeah.
that is going to really work out, because some or the other how we are teaching students, but in a different manner.
Yes. We
Yes,
are
please go
teaching them, I think, without any resources right now. And it is very important for children to have hands-on experience when they want to learn something. You give a child, for example, a primary grade child apple to actually make him understand that this is a fruit and it is red in color. If the child is not having apple, he can make a vague image of an apple being yellow. It is very important for a child to have that hands-on experience. In senior grades, you start
in a way
using
again you will be favoring experiential learning.
yes. And I think we as an
Another,
adult also want to
another
experience
word for
everything.
experiential learning. Another
Yes.
word for experiential learning.
Because I think we as an adult also we want to explore things, right? Even if we want to buy a dress for ourselves, we still want to go to the mall, take the dress, try it, and then buy it. No matter
Exactly.
online culture, online shopping is a trend. I think
Dresses
I
online
come
are
from that.
dresses online are really at times, they turn out to be a havoc. You order
Exactly.
something and something else comes in.
We want to take the feel of the fabric, we want to try it, how is it fitting on us. Similarly, it's learning. A child has to have that that hands-on experience, and that can only happen in that conducive environment which a normal school provides. They're
Exactly.
welcomed on their arrival, they have a routine, there is a culture actually. And these
Yes,
6 months have taken away that culture from our children.
exactly.
But still teachers are trying their best basically. And I think hats off to all the teachers across the world who are coming forward to make sure, the way doctors are coming forward for the patients, I think our teachers are coming forward for our students.
Exactly.
That's a
Exactly.
commendable job they are doing. But yes, like doctors need support, similarly our teachers, they do.
Exactly. Teachers need support, and moreover, they need to be more confident about themselves that yes, whatever they are doing or they are developing is for the betterment of their students. They shouldn't ever be too minded, because this is for those teachers who have just learned how to teach virtually.
Absolutely. When they started, there was a lot of news that it's a myth. It's a myth, whatever teachers are doing. But I really don't agree to that. Teachers
Even
are
I
really,
don't
really
agree to it that it's a myth. But yes, there have been instances when we forcibly have to think that yes, what is happening is wrong. Especially for preschoolers, online education is completely no, no, no from my side. What would you say about it?
Yes, ma'am, I think that's absolutely a no, no, no. And it's, if you're teaching online like that, anywhere 3 years old child cannot learn. Right? That child needs a different set of, different pattern actually for his own learning. I think for them, you can have various sessions. You can have a storytelling session just to engage them. Let's not put
Storytelling,
pressure. I'm any and all of it.
nursery rhymes, singing,
Absolutely.
all these things.
Yes. These days, storytelling with a guitarist, children are really enjoying it. Let's have some, musical dramas with them where children can relate to. I think these toddlers, they can relate to audio visuals more than what you're coming and talking and giving them a theoretical lectures. It's a whole life left to get those lectures.
Yes, that is
Probably a
actually.
teacher can come up, have a beautiful activities with them, can play. A lot of teachers are coming and doing flameless cooking, making lemonades, making a sandwich where
Not
children
only
feel
that,
happy about it.
I saw one of the teachers, she was enacting and telling, this is how a monkey walks, this is like reciting a monkey story. And the child was like, the child was completely zapped. And he also started behaving the same way. I think these kind of activities, we can
Yes.
have for preschoolers, and that is how we will start developing them. That is how we'll help them out. But yes,
Absolutely.
teaching A for apple, B for ball, C for cat, D for dog online, it is perfectly a no from my side, because
And trust,
it's going up across their heads. You can say it's a full toss ball.
ma'am, I think alphabets, rhymes, children are learning from a mother's womb only nowadays. I mean, mothers are also so excited to start teaching them A for apple and B for boy when the child is just what, 18 months or probably 14 months. We are just
Exactly.
restricting their knowledge. We are restricting their
Not only do
education.
we are just closing their minds in a cocoon that this is A for apple is A for apple, B for ball is B for
Absolutely.
ball. It cannot be A for aeroplane or A for ant or A for X or A for aunt. It cannot be that. B for ball is B for ball. It cannot be B for B for boy, B for um, bag. It cannot be that.
I think B never changed. It was always a ball for me and for you also. It never changed. And I don't think, it is going to take a lot of time for B to change.
Exactly. Not
I
only
think it's a
being,
cultural change. It's a cultural shift that we are talking about.
I think that is very much required now, because the entire world is evolving. There are so many things that are coming up. We cannot just make our kids restricted to the bookish knowledge.
Yes.
We cannot restrict them to the bookish knowledge. We need to give them wider horizons. What do you say about it?
Yes, ma'am. There are a lot of. I think technology itself is bringing a lot of changes. There are. If you talk about the way we have learned certain rhymes and the way they are now coming up with a lot of animations and all, it is making children are more interested to learn new things. There are bookish knowledge. I don't say that we can just cut it down. It has to be there. I think it has to coexist, and we have to really define the right you know the dimensions where a child can go and start learning, where the child can actually explore things. It is very important for us as educators and for parents also to give ample opportunity to a child for exploring. Like, when we were growing up, we were allowed to play in the mud. We have learned, we
Okay,
have built
so
our
these
immunity
days,
from
if
there.
the kids go and play, Arey, what have you done? Why have you dirtied your hands?
Absolutely.
Go and wash your hands. Until and unless they have the feel of mud, they have the feel of sand, they don't
Absolutely.
wet themselves in water and mud. This is not they won't have the feel of nature.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
In fact,
I
in
mean,
fact, I always want that kids should indulge in mud. They should
yes,
have the feel, because these days we as parents are scared that okay, if the child is playing in mud and water and they come inside, they will dirty the entire floor. हमें दोबारा पोछा लगाना. Keep a bucket of water and a towel there. Once the child stops playing, just wash their hands, wash their feet, and bring them in. They will at least enjoy. What do you
obviously,
say?
ma'am, because I think we are expecting too much from these students. Our expectations are like they are robots, and we are feeding them with our own knowledge. We are feeding them with our own thoughts. We are feeding them with our own situations
Same
and
thing,
the
same
repercussions of
thing,
it.
ma'am. It's the same thing. Like we are closing them inside a cocoon where they
Absolutely.
cannot come out.
Yes.
We need to let them out. We need to let them explore the world, but under our supervision.
Yes.
What do you say about it? How,
Absolutely. I think children.
ma'am, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think absolutely you're right that we are only creating a cocoon around them, not realizing that eventually they will only live in their cocoon. And then we will tag them. The child is not socially active. The child is not, he doesn't communicate with his fellow friends. He doesn't talk to, uh, if we have relatives at home. I think it is very important for us to actually, you know, give certain guidelines to a child and let them explore. We, I think, have human, this is a human tendency to control everything, but controlling another human being is going to actually create difficulties on a later stage, because the child will not be able to make out the difference between what is right and what is wrong. The child will not be able to choose from 10 options that he's going to have, because you're going to choose for him from the starting. You're going to tell him this is right, this is wrong.
Yeah, we will tell them, okay, you have to take a blue pen, so he will pick up a blue pen only.
Absolutely.
We need to develop his interest. We need to develop the child's abilities, the capabilities. We have to make their weaknesses their
Absolutely.
strengths. I think that is how
There are a lot of parents who
they
even
grew up.
children are sent to various activities also, and after 10 classes a child realizes that it is not of his interest.
Exactly. We
Right, so
send
we
them
should
to
give
those
them this.
activities. We send them to those activities which we want them to do.
Absolutely, yes.
So we are
We can't control
just
adults. I
zipping
can't
the
control
horizons
myself.
for them. We are just zipping the horizons for them and locking it from outside so that they are not able to open it up. We need to give them wings to fly.
Yes. I
So, ma'am,
was recently, yeah. being a
Ma'am,
part of a webinar where we had students, students from Welland Boys and students from various schools in foreign countries also. So the only thing that they were talking about is they are missing their physical activity classes. They are missing that openness that they used to get in their schooling. They are missing their peer groups and everyone. So, yeah, that was what you asked for. Yeah.
ma'am, how can online learning be interesting?
How can online learning be interesting? That's quite a
Because
good question, I
because
think.
kids are finding it boring
Yes.
because they are
And
missing
when so
the touching and troubling their friends. They are missing, okay, snatching somebody's pen or notebook while writing. They're missing all these things. So, what would you
yes,
suggest
I think
as a consultant? What would you suggest the teachers
yeah.
they should imbibe in their teaching methodologies that it becomes interesting for them? Because this is going to continue for another 3, 4, 5, 6 months also. You never know.
Yes. It is very important to create the interest of a child in the online learning platforms, like the way we used to do it in our schools. Like we have various assemblies that we do. We can start doing that online. Teachers can, uh, involve various fun-filled activities in the form of competition, in the form of quiz, in the form of an open conversation with the students. I think that conversation plays a very important role to create anything or to make anything interesting. Like how a teacher can start bringing some resources, they can start, initiating probably a group discussions in the classrooms, because what children are missing right now is the openness that they used to get in the school to talk to their peer group, to talk to their teachers. Obviously we can't do physical activities, but yes, we can include Zumba or aerobics activities in the classroom, or probably plan a timetable in such a way. I would not say that children would be able to 100%, but at least they can try to do it 50%. Then
Exactly.
they can have various
In fact,
classes like theater, dance.
we can organize some competitions which they can participate virtually, and we can declare the results
Absolutely.
virtually, and we can send their
Absolutely.
small trophies or certificates to them,
Yeah.
whosoever wins the competition, and that is really going to help out.
Absolutely, ma'am. I think it's the time we all have to actually boost the confidence level of students.
Mhm.
And for that, that's the best way. You can have various competitions, you can have recitation, show and tell, fancy dress. I have seen that, I think one or two schools, they are trying to do some fancy dress competitions also, with whatever costumes children can make at home. When children get ready for something like that, it creates a sense of happiness in them. There's an excitement. Tell them open maths book and come for a session, obviously they will have dull faces. So we have to actually do 50-50 right now if you want to make the classroom interesting, because obviously we can't only do co-curricular and leave curricular, but we have to just mix it, create a balance.
Exactly. We have to develop those lesson plans in a manner which is more interactive, which is
Yes.
more like a story,
Yes.
which is more like something that is unexpected by the students, because normally
Right.
the students expect that, okay, the teacher comes, okay, she opens the book, she reads the book to us, and or she writes on the whiteboard that is there at the back, and the camera is focused on it. That will be completely different, if the teachers involve in like something creative. That will even help the teachers in developing their creativity,
Imitating,
which
yes.
they have suppressed for quite some time.
Absolutely. I think teachers right now, the way they are creating their timetable also has to be managed very, very efficiently and properly. Because as it is, attention span for a child will not be more than 40 to 45 minutes.
Exactly, and they are conducting 4 to 6 hours of online teaching, and 4 to 6 hours is a pretty big time.
We as adults cannot sit more than 1.5 hours in front of a laptop.
Exactly. And normally I'm having my sessions for almost 1 to 1.5 hours at times. and I get so tired. I just want to just finish off everything and retire.
Absolutely.
I just want that, okay, now this session is over, bhago. I normally, while I'm continuously on the screen, and it strains your eyes, it strains your brain, it strains your back. I don't understand how these kids are managing and how the teachers are managing. It's not that we are against online education, but yes, we just want that the methodology needs to be changed. There
Yes,
should be
there has to
specific,
be. Yeah.
like it's not necessary to take up all the subjects in one day.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You have ample amount of time. You can use it in a more constructive way. What do you say?
True. Absolutely, ma'am. That's what I mentioned, that the timetable that teachers are creating right now is has to be a balanced timetable. Along with whatever we are teaching children, we have to also take care of the mental health, their well-being, right? A child who's what 13, 14 years of age needs peer group. We all understand that. More than at that point of time, the child is needing his or her parents, the child needs peer group. They are more comfortable with their peer group.
Exactly.
We have to give them the opportunity to feel free. Right now, you know, we are again restricting them. Sit for 40 minutes to understand maths, sit for 50 minutes to understand Hindi. Let's revamp it a
And
little because you have to do it.
ma'am, do you think maths, physics, numericals, chemistry, numericals can be taught virtually? I don't think so.
Ma'am, to be very, very honest, in my personal opinion, no.
Exactly, because until and unless, because whatever, even if we are teaching them on a whiteboard, that is really not going to make things clear to them.
Absolutely.
Anyways,
Everything.
other theoretical subjects like history, geography, civics, English, literature, language, to some extent, we can explain it to them. But science and maths, I don't think so. Biology also we can, because we can just show them on the diagrams and we can explain it. This is this is xylem, this is phloem, this is the esophagus, this is the stomach, this is the lungs. We can explain it to them, showing them the pictures. But maths and science, I don't know how teachers are managing it. What do
I
you
think
say
it's
about
a very, very tough thing to actually, even if we have to think about it, it looks like a nightmare. How are you going to do trigonometry and teach that to a child? If, you know, this is the case, then children would have graduated by now by looking at the YouTube videos.
exactly?
Yes.
Because
That's
there are
where,
so many YouTube
absolutely.
videos. Learn maths, learn tables. I don't
Children would
know
have
how
developed their own understanding about it and would have graduated in grade 5 and grade 6 only.
So now, what would you suggest? Let's do a recap of what we've spoken about
Sure.
in the form of suggestions. What would you suggest parents, first of all? After parents, we'll come to teachers, and then last we'll come to the students, because the end users are the students. They will be grasping everything. We as teachers and parents are going to help them out.
Absolutely.
So first, the teacher who is delivering the mode of teaching, the parent who is supporting that mode of teaching, and the student who is absorbing that mode of teaching. So I want your takeaways, your suggestions for all three of them.
So, ma'am, to start with parents, I think the first and foremost is that they have to understand that they are the partners in a child learning and the education, right? Teachers are putting their 100%, or I would say 150%. So, we expect parents to at least put in their 100% to help teachers to understand how much children are learning. That's one thing that teachers are right now unable to do, that they are unable to actually pen down the learning abilities and disabilities of a child. It is important the parent to actually come forward and help teachers to understand that. That's the only and the first and the last thing that I would want and suggest a parent should do. Only help teachers to understand the learning abilities and disabilities of a child. For a teacher, they are already putting so much their hard work into them. It is, yes, now is the time that teachers also have to start upgrading themselves. The way we upgrade, our way of teaching, our methodologies in a normal school, it is important for teachers to now start upgrading. They have to spend little more time. Yes, it is, I think, uh, if they look at this live session, they would want to put a lot of questions like that how can we expect them to put more efforts? But yes, it is important, right? It's need of an hour, I would say. This upgradation is going to actually help them to let online and offline learning coexist post this situation, because we know that schools are not
I
going
was
to
just
open
about I
six
was
days a
just
week.
about to come to this question. What do you think post Corona? Will online teaching coexist with offline teaching? If yes,
I
how?
think yes, because I am sure that parents also would be little skeptical to send their kids 6 days a week to a school, and also what we are hearing in the news and the guidelines that we see every day, a school will open for, they are going to operate alternate day basis or something. So we have to actually manage and balance online and offline learning both. Because I think by the time the children will have to get back to the school, they will be absolutely, they have adapted this culture of online learning, and they are now have to enter offline. So they have to coexist with the balance. We have to reduce the screen time. We have to start sending more of worksheets, documents, and work assignments so that we can create this balance. But yes, they are going to coexist, I think, for another 6 months post COVID.
Yeah, I think right now, as you said, we need to start sending them worksheets. I think instead of just bombarding them with online education, because it's been March, April, May, June, now July has come, and the kids are continuously on mobile phones and laptops for more than 3 to 4 hours.
Yes,
And that is definitely going to harm their brains, because
yes,
the radiations that the mobile and laptops are just throwing, I won't say they are radiating, but they are throwing it on them. This is going to definitely harm them. उनसे उनका क्या नुकसान हो रहा है, ना तो हम माँ बाप समझ पा रहे हैं, ना हम टीचर्स समझ पा रहे हैं. हमारे बच्चे, आई वोंट कॉल इट पेरेंट्स के बच्चे या मेरे बच्चे, हमारे बच्चे उस चीज को सफर कर रहे हैं. अभी प्रॉब्लम्स कुछ भी नहीं है जो स्कूल्स खुलने के बाद आपके सामने आने वाली है. इसलिए
true.
आप अभी से उस पे काम करना शुरू कर देंगे तो इट विल बी मच बेटर.
Yes.
You need
I
to
think in
dwell.
grade three we should take it little lightly.
Exactly. If we start preparing from now onwards, then only we will be able to cope with it. Otherwise, once the schools reopen, there are going to be lots of cases of depression. There are going to be lots of cases of aggression, because it does harm your happiness hormones, the radiations that are being radiated, and the kids are getting very badly affected by that. And too much of use of mobiles and laptops and radiations that they are absorbing, that is giving birth to this aggression, depression, and other problems like eye pain, back pain, neck pain, which is coming up. Some cases of eyes and back pain and neck pain have been registered with doctors.
Yes, obviously, man, because it's a developing stage. I
Exactly.
understand, technology is to support us to work efficiently, not to create problems for us. And excess of everything is bad, right? Children are taking 4 to 5 hours of online classes, and then to pass time at home, they are watching probably some various
They are
shows,
playing
some
games.
YouTube channels.
They are playing
Absolutely.
video games. Already they are there on mobile for 4 to 5 hours. In fact, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever hours the schools are suggesting. And then once the schools are over, once the online class is over, they get hooked up to the TV, or they get hooked to mobile phones, and they start playing games. There are so many games. There's so many games.
I know it's a very easy distraction.
Exactly, because we are not letting them get involved in any physical activity. They cannot move out of the house because we feel that the kids are safer at home, and it is a fact that they are safer at home.
True.
But हम लोगों को उन्हें एक्टिविटीज में लगाना चाहिए, और कुछ नहीं तो टेक देम टू द गार्डन. If you have a small garden, take them to your garden, but inside your premises. Absolutely. Let them cut the grass. Let them till the soil. Let them get involved with planting. Let them get involved with, if you don't know, don't do anything. Just tell them, okay, let's learn how to till the plants. Let's learn how to sow the plants.
Absolutely. I think we should let them be what they are for some time. Exactly. Because they are also emotionally frustrated. They are also undergoing a lot of
वो बोलते हैं ना कि हमारा अभी घड़ा भरने वाला है, उन लोगों का घड़ा ऑलरेडी ओवरफ्लो हो चुका है. They are just waiting. They are just waiting कि कैसे हम लोग बाहर निकले.
So we people also, it is very difficult.
It is very difficult. It is. Yes.
I think for students, I just want to say that you all are brilliant. You all are wonderful. You're all trying your best to cope up with the situation at such a young age. Be a little more calmer. Engross yourself in various constructive activities. Start reading, start writing, do poetry. Learn new things. Probably cooking, gardening. Get close to the nature. It will help them. I mean, it will help them to actually create, happiness around them. To be little more calm. To be little more joyful, right? Cooperate with your teachers. Don't switch off your cameras while you're in the classrooms. Be attentive in your classroom, because teachers are really, really putting their efforts. They are doing their best so that you can get some quality education. So just be partner to them for your own learnings.
In fact, I would also tell the students that in case if you are not willing to attend that class, please tell it religiously and honestly to your teacher that, ma'am, can we have it some other day? I am not interested today.
Yeah. Talk it out to your teachers.
Yeah. Yes. I would request the teachers, do not force yourself to do what you do not want to do. If in case you are not able to do it, and if in case you're not ready to accept that the child is not attending the class, please talk it out with the parents. Please don't keep grudges inside you. What do you say, Vibhuti? Hello?
Yes, I think it is very important to Yes, it is very important for us to hold hands and, just pass this phase right now. And try to make each other happy. I think parents can do some bit to make children happy. Children can do some bit to make teachers happy. I think it's a circle. So let's try to make each other happy so that we can comfortably pass this phase.
Exactly.
And I think let's avoid pressuring each other. In fact, I don't suggest that we should pressure our teachers also. They are also ultimately human beings. They are also doing a lot of effort, taking care of household responsibilities, school responsibilities, everything.
Exactly. So here we end our session for today. Tomorrow is Sunday, and we will be having a career talk. So thanks a lot, Vibhuti, for taking out time to be with us.
Pleasure, ma'am. I think it was all the best for your project. Really all the best for your project. Nice. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So here we end our session. Tomorrow it's career time. Tomorrow we will be having Dr. Sachi Maheshwari from Hyderabad. She is an accomplished chartered accountant. She will be telling us how to be she will be telling us how to be an accomplished chartered accountant. She will be guiding students, those students who are interested. Please do log in, and I would request all the parents to also log in to see what are the opportunities and how we can become an accomplished chartered accountant. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. Namaste.